1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, a 9, a 10, 11, a 12. The Kira Soltanovich Show.
The Kira Soltanovich Show.
No, you don't do it.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Kira Soltanovich Show. I'm excited. I'm back. So happy. Last week was my first one back. This week I have the very funny, very sweet, and also not what you would think, Mr. John Henson. He's very funny comic host. We know him from E's Talk Soup, from ABC's Wipeout game show, and also he unveils some interesting information about himself towards the end, of course. Towards the end of the podcast, we had a nice chat about his 2 young kids and his career and his wives. Not at the same time. But he's a real sweet guy, and I'm so glad he came in to sit down and chat with me. And I hope you enjoy my conversation with John Henson.
I used to have a joke in my act, and it never really, I guess it was too dark, and it didn't really work, so I haven't been doing it. But the joke was, no one in their right mind thinks it's okay to strike a defenseless child until you have one. And then you realize they're begging for it. Somebody needs to pull their card.
Can I tell you what I did the other day? I was in the kitchen cooking. I had a ladle, because I'm a Jew.
Right.
And we always just walk around with ladles.
It has nothing to do with the cooking. Just being armed.
Have a ladle.
Yeah.
And my kid refused, and we were talking about this before we started the podcast, my kid refused to, whatever it was, wash his hands before dinner, something that is just like a human should do. And he just kept ignoring me. And I would look him in the face and I would say, please go use the potty and then wash your hands. It's time for dinner. And he is staring at me while taking his Lego car and just riding it around in a circle, slowly, like a serial killer, just staring at me no, I'm not going to do it. And I had the ladle in my right hand and I started squeezing it, and I was standing in the doorway, and so the ladle is behind the wall. He can't see, but I literally have it raised up.
Right.
If he would see me do that, it would look awful. And he would say something like, what are you doing, Mommy? That looks aggressive.
Kira in the conservatory with the ladle.
Yes. And I had it raised up and clenched it. I was like, go use the potty and wash your hands.
Yeah.
And it felt good just to have it, knowing that I had it raised up.
Sure.
He didn't have to see it, but just having that motion of I could pummel you with this,
right,
kind of calmed me a little bit.
Right. You can see yourself giving the explanation of, look what you made me do.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I didn't obviously hit him with a ladle, because that would leave a mark.
Sure.
Find something softer.
Evidence.
But it just, it let me kind of blow off that steam.
Yeah, I think, I have had this conversation recently. So my son is 4.5.
When's your son's birthday?
March 7th.
Okay. So wait. Okay, I see.
And he is at that very contrary, defiant stage.
Yeah.
And I try to be a calm parent, and I try to, if he's having an issue, to really help him sort it out, patiently.
Yeah.
But there are times where I feel like, oh, no, you're just pushing until you find the boundary.
Right.
You're not happy with calm, peaceful dad. You need, there are times where you just have to go shock and awe and use the loud, angry voice just to let them know, hey, the border fence is electrified, so don't touch it, And all
the books and the articles and the Facebook posts that everybody said, it's kindness and get down to their level and just really namaste and calm and take a breath. But I think you're right. I don't think that they want that.
Well, they just, it's like, I guess it's just a human nature to just be like, what happens if I don't? You know, what happens if I don't do what you ask?
Yeah.
You know, and just exploring the limits of their power and independence. And, you know, I remember somebody telling me, you know, my wife primarily took some parenting classes and mommy and me stuff.
You didn't go. Yeah.
I mean, I did, but
you're not going to be that much a part of their lives. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I take care of, you know.
Yeah, there's heat.
Yeah.
In the house, right?
Yeah, right. We all sit around the stove.
There's food. That's
warming
it.
our hands. But they said children like structure and limitations. They find it comforting, even if they're not aware of it, even if they push, you know, they thrive on we go to bed, we take a bath at the same time, we read books at the same time, we go to bed at the same time. They'll fight it, but at the end of the day, if you kind of gave them free rein, it creates a little panic on them.
Right.
Because they don't know how to structure their lives, so you have to do it for them.
Well, I notice with my kid, if we do give him like a little, like yesterday, we're living in a temporary house. I should probably start with that.
Whoa.
Yeah, it really sucks with a newborn. Our house has water damage, and we had to evacuate. I love using that word because it also sounds like crazy diarrhea. But we had to get out. And, you know, 5 weeks old, I pack up 4 people's lives, and our insurance company is paying for a temporary house. So we have these neighbors, and it's so great because our neighbors now are like in their 90s or Filipino. You know what I mean? Like we don't have like kids, but we had these neighbors with 2 cute kids. And so the mom came over yesterday and she said, do you guys want to come over for a little while? And I'm just about to make him dinner. But I thought, I want to give him like that fun of like making a new friend, and they're going to have all these new toys. And I grabbed like 5 Legos. I grabbed like 0 toys for him. So I feel really bad. He's just like bored out of his mind. So we go over there. But guess what? You give a kid an inch and he takes a tantrum.
Yep.
So we go over, I go, we're only going to stay for a little while because I do have to make your dinner. And when we leave, we come back home, loses his fucking mind. And I go, I guess we can't have fun.
Right.
I guess we can't do fun things.
You don't
because I also
nice
wanted
things.
to hang out with a new mom and a new parent and have an adult to talk to. And he comes back in the house. He's totally cool, chill, like big man on campus in their house, walking around like, oh, that's a really cool Ninja Turtle car. I have that one too at home. Like just total. Right. He comes home, loses it.
Now, do you do, because I go through the same thing with like, for instance, if I allow my kid to watch Curious George.
Right.
There's always I want to watch one more episode.
Right.
So I have to do a series of warnings.
Yes.
Like, this is the last one you're watching. Jackson, remember, in 5 minutes, we're turning this off.
Yeah.
In 2 minutes, we're turning this off. No arguing. 1 minute, and I constantly do it. And then I give him a chance to say, I go like, okay, say bye-bye, Curious George. Like, I have to pound it into his brain that it's ending and hope that he goes through like the 5 stages of grief before he actually has that giant meltdown.
Or should we just do what our parents did with my parents, just unplug the TV when it had just a plug, not like 500 HDMI cables, but like they would just walk by. My dad would literally just walk by, unplug it with his foot.
Yep.
Just like kick it out of the socket.
Right.
Go to bed.
Right. And then yell at you if you got upset.
Yeah. And that was it. And then I would just, I guess it's over.
Right.
And now we do like, I have like semaphore flags, you know, like when cars race. I'm like, all right, last lap.
Right. And by the way, that sort of implies that when we were children, we got to control what was on the TV. Like I at my age, I remember being young and like spending an entire summer watching Watergate coverage. You know what I mean? Because it was like, nobody let me near the TV. I'm like, I'm like 5 years old going, dude, this guy Nixon is the worst.
But the Nixon action figure was really cool.
Well,
his hands came out.
Collect all four, trade with your friends.
There was a button that just made him shoot out, like, I am not a crook.
Yeah.
I feel like, so I haven't seen you at the Laugh Factory in a while, only because I haven't been there.
Right.
They just, like, stopped booking me.
Well, you have a newborn.
No.
And by the way, I'm at the point now where, like, I feel like such a pussy because I have to put in my availabilities. Listen, I can't do sets after 10:30 during the week. If I get an 11 o'clock set, I'm like, oh, God, that's like an hour past my bedtime.
Yeah.
And then they're always running late by the second show. And then by the time I get home, I'm a little keyed up and I got to go. Because I'm getting up at 6 regardless of what time. My children have no respect for daddy had a late set at the Laugh Factory.
Well, how old is your other child?
2.
Oh, so you're also in it, like in the trenches.
We're in ground zero. We went with so you spaced your kids out. We went with the it sucks now. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Let's just make it
get the diapers out of the way.
Yeah, let's
together.
just make it a 5-year run to get through all of the worst part of it. And so we doubled down. My brother said to me, he goes, wait, when we got pregnant the second time, he goes, what's the age difference going to be? And I go, 2 years and a couple months. And he goes, yeah. That's about as long as you need to think it's a good idea to have another child. Like, you need that period of time to be like, oh, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
We were so home free. I mean, our kid sleeps. He's very self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's obviously 4.5. He's almost, in December, be 5.
Right, he'll be driving soon.
He'll be driving, does our taxes. We were really, we could have been chilling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were home free.
No, we really were. After like...
You're like
4,
Pacino in Godfather. They pulled me back in.
Yeah. And 2 is right around the corner. You'll be fine, right?
It's so different now. Like I just had this conversation the other day. So my son is 4.5. My daughter's just over 2. The difference in their personalities, boy and girl, and their interests, and the way they relate, and the ways that they choose to try to manipulate are so dramatically different.
Really? Tell me.
First of all, I always believed that sexual orientation was something you were born with. But having experienced a boy and a girl and seen, I didn't tell my son and exclusively buy cars and trucks for him to play with.
Right.
That was just a pre-wired, from day one, that's what he wanted. And with my daughter, from day one, give me a tutu, give me a baby doll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, when I think of all these right-wing Christians, these are people that have a lot of kids. You can't tell me that you can't look at that kid and go, this is not a nurture issue. If a little boy starts gravitating, and there's a kid in my son's class that is gravitating towards girls' toys, and it's just apparent so quickly. So anyway, that's sort of a sidebar. I was it's so obvious once you've raised kids that they just are who they are, and there's nothing you can do about that. And so, nor should you want to do anything about that. So the other thing is my daughter is so much more subtly manipulative. My son is blunt force trauma manipulative. You know what I mean? He's he'll take the what if I scream and cry kind of, let me do it by force. My daughter tries to seduce you to her way of thinking with batting her eyelashes and hugging, and I'm like, you are, and
she's a siren.
Or pouting, trying to get sympathy through pouting, and it's I remember looking at her pout once, and my wife was laughing, and I was like, I know that pout. And I know what it means for the man she marries. I can tell you right now, she is going to have that guy wrapped around her finger.
Do you think she does that to you differently than to your wife?
Yeah.
Because I know that my son is so different. Like when he tries to manipulate with me,
Right.
he does the mommy, that
Right.
whole like, like
Yeah.
oldie time siren.
yeah.
And with my husband, it's just, it's like dudes.
Right.
Communicating. Where
Right.
It's like,
Well, guys-
shut up.
guys
No,
like-
you shut up.
Guys, emotionally, guys like communicate in primary colors. Like it's
Right.
just very
Right.
basic,
Yeah.
But there's a lot more shades of gray with my daughter who's will come over and be a little sing-songy, but I want a cracker. And kind of sort of smirking at me and batting her eyelashes and it works.
It works.
It works,
Yeah.
man.
Is she in like a preschool or
Yep,
what is
she just started school. She just started preschool.
And your kid is what? Like
They're
in
at the same
pre-K?
school, yeah.
Oh,
so he's
that's
pre-K.
convenient.
This is his last year at. But man, fucking 2 kids in preschool.
Oh my God!
Holy shit! It's like
How
having
much
another
are you
house.
Paying
Over $3,000 a month for the two of them.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's nuts. It's fucking
That's crazy.
nuts. And we specifically moved to Studio City to get into the Carpenter School District because it's a good public elementary school.
Yeah, it is.
And I just can't fucking wait to send him off.
Oh my
I
God,
got one
yeah.
more year with this kid. Come next June, I'm done. I'm back to 1.
But you probably go to one of those like really hippie, crunchy, which I'm all about because I can tell by the price point. Trust me, I've shopped.
Right, neighborhood school in Studio City.
Come on.
But there's Fountain Day. Have you ever looked at Fountain
expensive.
Day?
They're all expensive.
Fountain Day in Hollywood, $18,000 a year, and that doesn't include a lot of the extras. So, but they have like a pool with retractable walls and ceilings, so it's indoor, outdoor.
my
Their
God.
lunches are done by Whole Foods. Like it's like a fucking college campus.
No.
They send a teacher to a toy convention every year
my
to get the
God.
newest, greatest toys. We walked in for the tour, and it was the Stepford children. We walk in, they're all like 2.5-year-olds sitting quietly at their desks with their hands folded, and they all turn around and in unison go, "Good morning, parents." And I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to get out of here. I'm afraid these kids are going to kill us. And to get your kid, you need to do a Mission Impossible thumbprint.
Like a retina scan?
Yeah, it's like, what am I trying to do? Get launch codes here?
Why is it so how could it be that expensive?
$18,000 a year. They're the only preschool in the United States that has a retractable roof indoor-outdoor pool.
That's
I
bananas.
would love to go to this school.
Aaron and I went to San Diego State.
Uh-huh.
I mean, 2 decades apart, but we went there together. And I think my college cost $500 a semester.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my kid's preschool, he's now in TK.
Yeah. You have a kid and you start looking into the cost of childcare and you literally start thinking, maybe we'll get lucky and our kid will be dumb. Maybe he's not going to go to college. Maybe he's just going to, how about a trade school?
Yeah.
Can I talk him into a trade school?
Yeah. I think that now kids can probably learn how to, what's my nephew doing? He's learning code.
Oh, yeah.
He's 12.
Sure.
You just learn code because everything's going to be internet.
I want a kid that doesn't aspire to much.
Or do you want to do the opposite and have a kid that's super smart or athletic and they're like, we want him working for the government by the first grade?
Well, yeah. I mean, if I could somehow end up with an Asian baby or an Indian baby,
It's
is that
not
what you're
too
saying?
late. It's not too late.
The kind of kid that's, his idea of fun at 7 years old is memorizing words for the Scripps spelling bee,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
I think sexual orientation, they're born that way, but Asian, they can change.
Sure. Well, yeah, I
not born
think
that
I've
way.
got to champion my inner tiger mom.
My friend told me to get my kid tested, right? He's a comic. His kids go to Merman. You know what Merman is? That genius, crazy school on top of Mulholland,
yeah.
where it costs $500 just to get them tested to see if they could even get into the school.
Right.
That's something that
They literally just take your money and look at you and go, your kid's not,
Yeah.
he's not right. I can just tell from looking at him, we don't need to do the test.
Yeah, no. We can just tell by the way he picks his underwear out of his
He's
penis.
wearing his shoes on the wrong feet. We're done. We're done. Give me your money.
My kid was like tugging on his penis the other day, and I go, dude, do you have to use the bathroom? And he's like, no. I go, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just pulling the underwear out. Of the front?
Where-
How do you have a wedgie
in the front?
Why? What's happening? We're buying you the wrong underwear.
You know, the penis, as I like to say, fun for ages 3 and up. That's a toy that will never lose its luster.
My kid had something going on. He's like, my penis hurts. I go see daddy. I don't know. I don't have no idea.
Yeah.
And my husband asked him a series of questions that I never would have thought of. He literally went down a checklist. Did you put anything in the hole? No. Did you hit it against something? No. Like, I'm just... Go put an ice pack on it. Like, that's all I tell him to do. And he will. He'll put one down his pants and walk around the house.
I will tell you a very personal and inappropriate story about my son's penis.
Yes, please.
We had my child circumcised. Right?
Oh, you animals.
I know.
How could you mutilate your child like that?
Because I was mutilated and I want him to
We did
look
too.
Like me. Yeah.
We did
so
too.
we get the kid circumcised, and a couple weeks later we're at a barbecue with a bunch of other parents that have little boys, and we're talking about circumcision. And one of the parents goes, "So you have to do that thing where you're like putting like Vaseline around the incision," and we're like, "No, what are you fucking talking about? Nobody." And they're like, "Oh no, you have to do that." And I was like, why would I touch his dick? No, we didn't. No. And so they're like, "Oh no, you have to, otherwise it forms scar tissue." And I'm like, fuck. So we literally, like, the next day, it's 9:05, and I got my pediatrician on the phone from the car, like, "I'm coming in hot, clear a room. I've ruined my son's dick." And so it's fine. He's fine, totally fine. But the point is, I get him in there. And this was like one of the first appointments with my pediatrician, who's a younger woman, probably in her mid to late 30s. And I'm with my wife. And she takes off my son's diaper and she goes, "Oh, wow." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Your son is very well endowed."
Oh,
I swear to God.
Christ.
I swear to God. And I was like,
God.
Yes, I thought that. I literally was like, the legs have to grow faster than the penises, because this ratio cannot hold up. You know what I mean? And this is to give you an idea of my wife, who's also a comedian.
She is?
Yeah, how inappropriate. Not a stand-up and improv comedian, but this is how inappropriate we are as parents. The pediatrician goes, "What's your son's name?" And my wife goes, "His name's Jackson, but we call him Jax because we want to make sure he's going to get a whole lot of pussy." And I literally, like, I just started packing up our stuff. Like, I just went, "Okay, well, thank you very much." Like, and my wife goes, "What are you doing? We're just starting the appointment." I go, "I don't think you can drop the P word in a pediatrician's office and think that it's okay to stay. I'm sure we're leaving now. Do you validate?" Like, I was like, "We're out of here."
Your insurance drops you.
Yeah.
Where is your wife? What does she do? I did not know that. That's so...
My wife, Jill Benjamin, is like a veteran of Chicago improv scene.
Is that where you guys met?
We met, actually, she worked for me.
What?
And we spent so much time together at work. It's interesting. So I spent months working 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day with her. And
on a show?
On a project that I was producing. So, so the last time I was really attracted to someone and didn't put a move on them for 4 months, I was fucking 14 years old. Like, you know what I mean? The fact that we had a work relationship led to the development of this chemistry and getting to know each other. Normally, you just sort of like jump into bed and then you back time it. And like, okay, are we compatible? Do we like each other really? Or is it just a animalistic chemistry
name
thing?
again?
Jill Benjamin.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I have to remind myself. But I, as I like to say, the relationship has come full circle because I used to tell her what to do. Then we got married. Now she tells me what to do. So I fucked my way to the bottom.
Yeah,
which
you
takes
did.
a special kind of stupid.
That's cool. My husband and I also met at work.
Really?
Yeah. And I was lower on the totem pole than him. And he never lets me forget it.
Sure.
He's like, you were just a researcher.
Well,
and a writer's assistant.
Researcher that got a lifetime contract.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I LexisNexted your ass.
Right.
That's a really old reference. That's when we met.
LinkedIn.
LexisNexis.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
I don't know.
I think it's Nexus Lexus. But yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
You know what? Fucking
I drive a Nexus Lexus 458. It's a hybrid SUV. It's good for the kids.
I dare you to say that without that protective barrier cube, whatever that
it's
is.
like Ziggy looking at him. You just see a bit of the nose and then the eyes.
Because you can't say it to me with your full face.
It's like Goldbug staring over.
Yes.
My kid's obsessed with Goldbug.
People know what that is still?
Richard Scarry's books.
It's the best. They're the best books.
Yeah.
We have a huge one with like every vehicle in the world.
He wanted to be Goldbug for Halloween when he was
like, oh my God, he's like taking it back.
Yeah.
So you guys are two performers. How does that work? Because I mean, obviously it does, but I've dated comics, I've dated actors. It's always
interesting.
Awful.
I mean, we're not. If she were also a stand-up, maybe it would be different.
Yeah.
But we have, like, she's more of the improv world comedic actress. I'm more of a stand-up / host. So we don't have that direct overlap in competition.
Yeah.
But we do understand enough of what each other does that we're sympathetic to what the other person is facing in terms of frustrations and career-wise. So it kind of works. But both of our kids are super, super verbal, and we're at an extremely early age.
Yeah.
And I think it's because my wife and I just never shut the fuck up. Like, because we are constantly talking and doing bits.
Yeah.
And so the kids, like, at 18 months, were like, I got to get in this conversation because if I don't learn to talk now, I'm never going to get a word in edgewise.
I think that has something to do with it. Absolutely. My kid, same, exactly the same. One of his classmates at school, the mom, like, there's like a school Facebook page where all the parents like post stuff, whatever. And the mom posted, hey, anybody want to go to Flappers on Saturday? They do a kids show in the afternoon. I know the comic Michael Rayner, who does like a really great juggling act. He's so funny. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know Flappers, but I didn't know that they
on
did
Saturday.
This for
you
kids.
should take your kids. Oh, it's so cute. It's called 2 Milk Minimum.
Okay.
And it's just...
That's great.
It's just full of kids, and it's a great show. So I've taken Braden a couple times, and one of the moms posted we should take our kids and have like and I go, I don't tell anyone I'm a comic until it comes out. You know, I don't walk around going, hey everybody, I'm opening for Brad Garrett. Like, I don't. It
isn't it like you go? Well, I'll let you finish your point, but I have a very specific thought about this.
I don't even tell people even when they ask.
Right.
I just say I'm in the entertainment industry,
especially in the fucking preschool world.
But she wrote Flappers, and I was like, oh well, I happen to I work at Flappers. I'm actually going to be there tonight.
Right.
It was their 5th anniversary last weekend, and I was like, I know Flappers. Anytime you guys want to go, let me know. What do you mean you work there? Oh, Jesus.
A cocktail waitress.
I'm the dishwasher. I'm a comic. The minute I said that, oh my God, Braden is the funniest kid in the classroom. This is the first I've heard of this.
Really?
Braden is all, because when parents pick up their kids, my kid goes up to them.
Right.
And I know that he's very social, but I don't know what he says to every single parent. Braden will come up to me and he'll compliment me on my shirt. And he'll say, I really like that shirt.
He walks up and goes, so anybody celebrating anything today? Any birthdays, anniversaries? Anybody got a bachelorette party?
What do you do? What do you work? What do you do? But he's constantly chit-chatting, cracking jokes. And there was a moment where I was like, oh, that's cute. Oh, no, that's terrible.
Right.
Like, I immediately thought, that's not good.
Right.
Because then he's going to be what I was in school, which was constantly in trouble.
If Braden would talk less and listen more.
Yes. Great potential. That's what I always got. great potential if she just applied herself.
Right. And by the way, let's just acknowledge that potential thing, because I got that too, is really just a nice way of a teacher saying, let's hope there's potential there, because without potential, your kid's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's just a blob of cells and nerves.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I like that he's considered like every. Then I started investigating. Then I started asking around his teachers and other kids, and they're like, "Oh, he's constantly doing stand up in class.
That's so great.
He's constantly telling jokes and like pitching premises. Like, hey, what if a cockroach and a person had a kid?
Right.
Would it be called a cock person? He does bits.
Right.
Like
and what if that cock person went to a Burger King drive-thru? I think it would go something like this. Yeah.
I don't know why, but it just cracks me up that he does bits.
Yeah.
Oh.
The thing that I've noticed with preschool parents, we have met more people through our preschool that we truly enjoy hanging out with. We really, really like these people. But what happens is, I never tell people that I'm a comic. And even if they do know I'm a comic, I never tell people when I'm performing.
No.
Because this is what happens, and it's just human nature. They go, "You gotta tell me. Oh my God,
tell me
totally
when your
come.
next show
When are you
is.
coming? We want to come so much. You tell us. When's your next show? You tell me." And I go, all right. Friday night, I have the 8:00 show at the Laugh Factory. Ooh, Friday night we don't have a sitter.
Know if we can do that.
But you know what? Tell me next time. When are you going to be on the next week? Next week you got to tell me. So now I'm like, fuck. So
I know.
all right, next week I got a Saturday 10 p.m. show. Dave has his college roommate in town that weekend. So and now I'm fucking chasing you to come to my show, which I never invited you to in the first place. And it makes me feel very. And then the other thing is, like, people are like, "How come you don't tell anybody?" And it's like, guys, I don't want to take you to work. Like, it's, you know what I mean? If you...
Tell me when you're going to sell insurance again.
Right.
Tell me when you're going to sell auto insurance.
Oh, you're an accountant. Tell me when you're going to do math. I want to come by and check that out. Are you going to do long division today? How come you never tell us?
I save it for really important shows.
Right.
Like, we did an industry night.
Yeah, and then you want everybody there.
And then it's like, please come, please come, please come. Or like a show that... I want to make sure, like if it is like, for example, I'm headlining Flappers for the weekend. I got 4 shows.
Right.
I want to pack them.
And by the way, what about when they are like, well, I want to come and see you do a Wednesday 10:40 set when there's 18 people in the audience.
And you have 7 minutes.
And it's going to fucking suck.
Yeah, no.
And then that's going to be their impression of you as a comedian. Like, I'm like, if you want to come and see me, you come see a sold out weekend show.
Right.
I don't want you there when I'm like going through my notebook going, what else?
And
you
there's
know
like
what I mean?
tourists from Tanzania in the front row who don't even speak English.
Right.
I shot a special last Mother's Day. I was between 7 and 8 months pregnant.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Crazy. And that's when I was like, come down to...
Sure. Save your favors for when it really counts.
But it was Orange County.
Oh, well.
Oh, we just don't know if our MapQuest goes that far.
It's out of our zone. It's out of our friend zone.
So I was like, all right. I mean, I really, and Aaron knows, I was here in this studio like what? Almost every week, like just promoting, like, come to my show. Because 500... We had to fill 500 seats, and we did it.
Was it the Improv down there?
No, I did it at the Coach House.
Okay.
Have you ever performed at the Coach House?
No, but it's
a crazy honky-tonk bar.
And these places that are... I took a gig a couple of years ago on 3 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
So clearly somebody had fallen out.
Yeah.
Some giant headliner had fallen out. And it was like in the Improv in Orlando or something like that. And... I was like, well, yeah, I mean, look, I'll do them, I'll be the guy that came through and helped him out. 3 weeks notice, sure, I'll take it. It's found money. It's like a fucking 650 seat place. And they hadn't done any promotion for me. So I'm like going up for like they have like the curtain where they cut the room in half, you know? And then I want to say that there was like a secondary curtain where they're like, maybe we need to bifurcate this audience again. Let's take the cube root of our seating because it's gone from a stadium to like dinner theater for 14 people because you're such a non-entity.
That's not true, but they just gave you 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, but it was so...
You're an entity.
It was fucking humiliating.
What's the longest you've been on the road away from your kids?
I don't really do that. I mean, a week. And I kind of... I don't really do the road because I only do it in town because it's like I'm in my 40s. I got a wife and a fucking house and 2 kids. I don't want to be at a Days Inn in Atlanta for 6 days, FaceTiming my kids at dinner. You know what I mean? And trying to get them to listen to me, and then like going back to compulsive masturbation and pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's they expect that at the Days Inn,
right?
I mean, Weston.
Yeah.
Don't try that.
No, but when you go into a Days Inn, they lay down a tarp in the room for you.
Anything with the word inn, Red Roof Inn, the La Quinta Inn.
Right.
Yeah, they're expecting.
Yeah, the inn is in quotes.
There's just one N.
Yeah.
I have been also the most as a week.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I don't want to go back on the road, but do you feel like you can get an hour? Like, what do you want to do in town?
You know, it's interesting. So I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, Neil Brennan, who was like, what is your...
No, I love Neil.
who was like, what is your end game? Because I did stand up for like 7-8 years and then moved out to California. I did it in New York.
Is that where you're from?
Boston. Started out in Boston. I was in college at Boston and then started out there in the open mic scene and moved to New York. And so I got Talk Soup in 1995 and I moved out to L.A. And immediately my schedule, it was almost like we were doing a morning show. They at the time, E! was covering the OJ trial live from 9 to 5. So I had to be out of the studio by 7 a.m. So I had to be up at like 4 and at work at 5 for a year. So I was going to bed at like 8 o'clock, you know, and so I moved 3,000 miles away. I didn't know the clubs. I didn't know the people. I didn't know the comics. And I didn't have a schedule that allowed me really to do stand-up. So I blinked my eyes, and I've been out of stand-up for like a year because that was how long they covered the OJ trial.
Yeah.
And then I became, by that point, I was like really obsessed with making television. Like television seemed so new and fresh to me, and there was so much to learn. And so I kind of drifted away from stand-up, and I drifted away for like 16 years. I only performed very rarely. I mean, very rarely. And so...
didn't people want you to perform after seeing you on Talk Soup? Because that always seems to go hand in hand. Like,
I mean,
we wanted to come do our banquet. We're giving away awards.
Occasionally, yeah. And then I would, like, pull it together for that. Yeah. But I was lucky enough to work on television, and it was in retrospect, I wish I had continued it. Because if I had continued touring periodically before I had a wife and kids, I'd have a great secondary income today because I'd have a fan base. What I realized when I decided to go back to stand up 2-3 years ago now, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I'm throwing out all of my old material. I'm starting from scratch. And just started writing an act.
You mean you didn't do any of your jokes from 16 years ago? That's so weird. No, like Princess Diana jokes. That's so bizarre.
I wasn't the 20-year-old, single trying to get laid.
Yeah, I would hope you'd throw away your jokes.
Yeah. So nothing worked, and I started over, and it was all like marriage and kid material. And when I got an hour, I started going on the road, and I realized that just because you're on TV doesn't mean you can sell tickets. I can be booked as a headliner, but I can't hit like my bonuses for selling out rooms because, I just did 7 seasons on Wipeout. It's a show for, I was writing soul-crushing puns for 11-year-olds. They're not coming to comedy clubs.
Right.
And so... I realized very quickly that like the amount of money that I was making on the road wasn't like, oh man, I can't turn this down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was it just didn't seem to be enough to justify being away from my kids. I was like, I'd rather do it in town and then try to concentrate on like the foothold that I have in television and keep that going.
Right.
And I guess, you know, maybe what I got to do is like do an hour-long special and see if maybe that enables me to sell some tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sort of a rude awakening that like just because you're on TV and just because you can do an hour doesn't mean, oh, you can go make $15,000 a weekend selling out someplace.
Well, this was before Twitter probably too, because now they're all about, we don't care if you're funny. How many Twitter followers do you have?
And I have like 10,000 Twitter followers. I don't have reams of Twitter followers.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not. That's not me. I try, and I'm just not. It's not for me.
I got so many fucking plates I'm spinning.
Yeah,
you know, people.
yeah.
I look at people who like tweet 15 times a day, and I'm like, yeah, you aren't wiping shit off of another human being 4 times a day, are you?
Yeah.
Like, because you know. We're just all hands on deck, just trying to like keep the whole family train moving. So I kind of view Twitter as like a professional obligation, but sometimes I go through periods where I'm like, I'm not really paying attention to this.
You know what I feel like? I feel like because it wasn't around when I started stand-up, so it wasn't like that's why I'm, you know, I know what I'm getting into here. Like when I started stand-up, it was go to open mics, write a lot of jokes, get up on stage.
Right.
That was it. And then repeat. Mm-hmm. That's it. And it's almost like, you know, that guy that works at like IBM or Hewlett Packard, the company that, hey guys, we got to learn a new software or something. It's like, well, no. I've been doing this job. I know what I'm doing. I do the what is it, the TPS reports or whatever from Office Space. Like I know this is what I signed up for. How come you didn't
put the cover on your TPS report?
Yeah, and it's like no. Now we got a new thing. There's a new, like my mom is a fashion designer, right? She's done patterns by hand, big table, scissors, and you cut and you do the whatchamacallit? Oh my God, my brain. The patterns. Mm-hmm. You know, you do them by hand.
Right.
All of a sudden, in her like 60s, she has to learn how to do patterns on a computer. She's like, no. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Right.
They're like, no, we have a new program.
Right.
It's called iPattern.
Right. And all of your 40 years of experience is now invalid.
Yes.
Like, that's what
I feel like.
Right. And by the way, follow me on Twitter, John _Henson.
We're periscoping this whole thing.
Twitter.com, John _Henson at Twitter.com. But I've said before, it's sort of maddening that the rise of YouTube fame and Twitter fame has essentially destroyed the linear progress of a career, where you start out as an open micer, then you become a paid regular, then a middler, then a headliner, and then all of a sudden you're doing theaters and
doing
larger,
late night spots.
Exactly.
And that bridges the gap to larger rooms.
Or in the world that I sort of stumbled into with TV, you know, you're hosting TV, and then you learn to write, and then you learn to produce, and then executive produce, and then maybe you start selling shows of your. Now it's a fucking 16-year-old kid shooting dumb shit on his phone that doesn't make any sense, has 1.7 million Twitter followers, and he's selling, you know, advertising space at $75,000 a banner, and TV doesn't have the money to hire him anymore.
Yeah.
And it just drives me crazy that is now the new direct route to fame and fortune, right after I just spent 25 years learning from the ground up.
Right.
Oh, that was all unnecessary now? All that, the 2.5 decades that I spent, you know, learning each step of the way thoroughly before I moved on. Oh, that's useless now. Great.
It's like we're climbing Everest, and then some 12-year-old is taking a helicopter to the top.
Now you guys don't have to do the walking with the
that's what we're doing. That's
freezing
the whole point.
And the trying to breathe oxygen that isn't there. You can just start out right there at the top. What?
It's crazy. I don't know if that's good or bad, because it does open up opportunities. But if one more person tells me to start a YouTube page, why am I going to start a YouTube page?
Right. I just did a pilot for a show based on viral videos, working with a company called Jukin. that is a viral
I'm
video.
offended as a Jukin. That is, why would they? That's not polite.
Jukin, Jukin. All they do is license viral videos from all around the world. They have like teams, like you wouldn't believe, like you remember at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark,
right.
the place that just went on forever,
right,
where all
right.
the boxes were stored. It's like that, but it's all like 22-year-old kids just surfing the web, doing for a living what other people get fired for doing at a normal job, which
right.
is goofing off online. And they just license these videos. So I just did a pilot with them about launching my own YouTube channel of viral videos. And I literally feel like my dad when he started playing video games
yes,
and was like, I got 46,000. Is that good? I'm like, no, it's not good. I got like a 58 million. So no, 47,000 isn't good, Dad.
No,
you know?
I feel like my mom trying to learn how to do the Running Man.
Right.
Am I doing this right? Am I like young and hip and cool?
I'm like, I got 10,000 Twitter followers, and like, the hot intern at this Jukin office is like, that's adorable.
Yeah, they get 10,000 retweets.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Jukin. I just see like an application where you have to fill out like your next of Jukin in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
Who's the nearest Jew that we can contact?
Right. Who's the Jukin? I like to say that I'm 15% Jewish on my manager's side. So,
are you?
Yeah.
You're not.
No.
There's no Jew in you.
No.
No. Is your wife Jewish?
No.
What?
My first wife was.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
44 minutes in. Let's talk about that.
I took a mulligan.
What? I took a Finnegan.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
That's my husband's last name. I know what a mulligan is.
Yeah.
What was the first marriage all about?
It was all about a terrible and expensive mistake. I don't know if you've ever heard me say this on stage, but I always say, if you want to know what it's like to be divorced, just think of the person that you hate most in the world and then buy them a house. That's what it's like.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. You had enough money to buy someone a house? You got to look at the bright side.
It is not for divorce is not for the faint of heart.
You didn't have kids with her?
No, thank God.
Good.
My ex-wife is about as maternal as a wolverine. I think there's a greater chance that she would eat her young than rear it. Yeah.
Why did you marry her?
I don't know. I was an idiot.
How old were you?
32.
What?
She was 26.
Oh, you should have known better.
No,
I thought for sure you were going to be like, I was in college. We were 22. We were crazy.
I was an idiot.
We were bungee jumping. And there was a priest there.
I was a moron. And
32.
We were not right for each other, but
she was hot. She was totally hot. She was smoking.
Well, it's like I have a theory that when somebody goes, oh man, this girl, my buddy's dating this girl who's completely insane, I always go, she's hot, right?
She's gorgeous.
And the guy goes, yeah, why do you say that? And I'm like, because no one goes out with an ugly psycho. You know what I mean? Like if you hear them describe a woman as fucking crazy, she's got to be a piece of ass.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, where's the allure?
There's no like, oh my God, my girlfriend is a lunatic and the hump on her back.
Right.
No,
exactly.
It's constant taking care of herself.
Right.
There has to be like that. I think also causes women to go crazy because it's a cycle of like self-tan, manicure, pedicure, roots, fake boobs, fake lips, eyebrow extension. No, not eyebrow extensions. That's my dad. Eyelash extension. And then I see them. I see the crazy women that are like super gorgeous.
Right.
Yes, some of them wake up that way, but most of them.
My ex-wife was more in the sort of professionally driven, quasi-sociopathic. I have a black heart.
Oh, it sounds like those were the vows. Is that what she?
Yeah. I promise to love, honor, and take half your shit.
Oh my God! So she was 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were married for almost 6 years.
What?
And it cost me a whole lot of money. A whole lot of
wow.
money. It
Well,
cost me about half of what it took me 20 years to save.
Okay, so I don't know the details. I don't want to know the details. That's none of my business. I mean, unless you want to tell me.
They're brutal. They're bad. They're bad, and it wasn't me.
And maybe it's just me because I do have a little bit of a hump on my back. Mm-hmm. I cannot imagine saying, all right, you want to get divorced? I want half your shit. Look, if there's like something amicable that works for, maybe I'm just talking on my ass right now, but I just could not wake up every morning, just stretch and be like, I earned none of this.
Yep.
Like, I just couldn't. I would feel like such a douche.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't do it. I don't know. And look, men do it too, Kevin
Sure.
Federline or whatever, like whoever. But you didn't have Britney Spears money, so maybe it's a little more unfair.
The person who's always like, it's only right that you split things evenly because that's California. That person is always the person who doesn't have the bulk of the money.
Right, exactly. And even if I did or didn't, like, I just feel like, look, let's do what makes sense if we're getting a divorce. But there's no reason your house should be better than mine.
Oh, and by the way, this is a person who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and has far more job security than I do.
What?
So that was one of the things that was so fucked up about it. Like, the first few years of Wipeout for me were literally just making myself whole from what I had lost in my divorce. So, it was tough. But here's the silver lining of it.
Yes.
Truthfully, I mean, it sounds like a Pollyanna type Hallmark card thing to say. But if I didn't go through that, I might not have found what I have now. And I learned through that marriage and the way it dissolved and how brutal it all was, what I needed in someone that I didn't recognize when I was young and married my first wife. Like, it helped me identify what I need in a partner.
Yeah.
And when I started dating my wife, it was like a revelation. Like, it was like, holy shit, there are women that will treat you like this? I didn't even know this was on the fucking menu.
Hand jobs?
Let alone...
hand jobs in traffic?
Let alone...
Is that what she does?
Oh, please. The best thing about my wife is she's got the libido of a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. My wife will think nothing of, like, putting the kids to bed, coming in on a Tuesday night, shutting the door and going, we gonna fuck or what? Like, so it's great. But yeah, it helped me.
And that's just the pediatrician. Hello, zoinks. Get some pussy.
It helped me. It helped me sort of, I guess, get to where I am today with her and my kids. So she never wanted to have kids, my first wife. So it all ended up okay. But it was hard to go through.
Did you think like, oh yeah, one day kids?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I don't know why that just is so sweet and cute to me when guys.
And she would, when we got married, she was like, yeah, just not now. And then that became, I don't know, maybe. And then that became, I don't want to have kids.
Oh, you mean the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And
but my wife and I have had that conversation, like when people get married and they just have never had the conversation.
Oh,
like when a woman gets married to a guy and she's like, well, I want to have kids, but he doesn't want to. It's like, that didn't fucking come up during the should we join our lives together forever conversation?
You guys are hiring a band for your wedding.
Right.
You don't want to like maybe like just in case, hey, this band appetizers are expensive. Do you want kids?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that my husband at first didn't, but I was like, well, then then why are we together?
Right.
Because I knew, look, I'm a comic. I'm very self-centered because I'm a comic, and that's just what we naturally are. But I also know that I want to do it all. I want to have a full, well-rounded life. Mm-hmm. And that sucks because I know I probably would have a different career if I didn't have kids.
Sure.
I know for a fact that they do, which is what this podcast is about. They do cock block my career.
Yeah.
But they also give me something else other than just me.
Yeah, it's a depth of experience, and something is finally more important to you than you are.
Right. And I think that actually makes my career more important in a different way. Mm-hmm. So like instead of just like me waking up going, okay, me all day long, I'm waking up going, oh shit, the mortgage.
Right. It just aligns your priorities.
Yeah.
It's like an instant chiropractic adjustment of your priorities. For me, it silenced a lot of the, white noise bullshit that I would obsess about or have anxiety about, that now I'm just like, I just don't have time for that shit.
Right.
Like, comparing my career to other people's careers or whatever. It's like, fuck it. I gotta do what I gotta do to take care of my family, and I'll do anything to do that. So it's for me, it's accessed a level of diligence and a die-hard need to provide for them.
If you wanted to have kids, does that mean you had a pretty good childhood? Because I think a lot of comics had a shitty childhood, and they're like, "Fuck that! I don't want to repeat that."
Yeah, I had some pretty traumatic shit happen to me in childhood, and I went through a phase. This is like always a thing that people never anticipate, but I went through a phase where I was a pretty bad kid for a while.
Because you're wearing a plaid shirt, they don't anticipate
but just people look at me and they go, "Oh, sort of white bread." I grew up in. You grew up in Connecticut? Oh, okay.
Oh, what part?
Stamford. Right outside New York City. It's not Greenwich. Right next door, but different place. But I got. Look, it took me 5 years to get through high school. I got thrown out of public high school. That's not easy to do.
What did you do to get thrown out?
Oh. I didn't go to school.
Okay, sure.
And
what were you doing when you were not in school?
I had a couple of different businesses. Sort of a grassroots sales program. A multi-level marketing, you could say.
Grassroots?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Started at grassroots, and it moved into the dry goods.
Really? Wow.
And some previously owned car stereo equipment.
Oh, I don't see that. I definitely don't see that.
I was a good kid, but I was pretending to be a bad kid, and some of the things that I were doing were things that were done by genuinely bad kids.
Right,
right. So
you got in the wrong crowd.
Yeah, and I just pursued that kind of danger. I had alcoholism and addiction in my family, and my parents were divorced, and I was sort of raising myself in my adolescence, and so I think I was just sort of mad at the world, and taking it out on anything and everything around me. And
so this is like in high school primarily?
Yeah. I had to repeat my junior year of high school.
Oh my God, what was that like with the other kids? Like, hey,
fucking crazy, man.
Didn't you?
I had to leave school. I had to go to a private school. I had to leave public school. They sat me down. They're like, "We strongly suggest."
Oh, no.
They basically said you're going to have to repeat your junior year here, but it was very clear that if I stayed at the school, I'd end up just dropping out of high school. Period.
Right.
So they moved me to a private school that was either for kids that had always been in private school or kids like me that needed more structure in their environment. And I did turn it around. I went on to become president of that high school, and I got an award for service to the school and the community at graduation. Wow. I gave a speech at the graduation and stuff. I got just enough, 2 years of good records to get me into a college that I would then virtually immediately drop out of to do stand-up. So
which college was that?
Boston University.
Oh,
After 2 years, I dropped out of that. So
it's a great school, though.
But it's like I have this whole I'm very into I have tattoos. People would not normally think of me as a tattoo guy.
Where?
But I have the top half of my back done, and just tattoos.
What?
Sort of,
I cannot even believe this.
Here's what I love.
I feel like you would turn away Latinos at a country club. That's what I look at you and I go, oh, he doesn't want any people of color at his yacht club.
But I love covering up all those tattoos with a jacket and tie and
oppressing some minorities.
Because it's underneath all that, I gotta look just as fucked up on the outside as I feel on the inside. You know what I mean? So I need to look like a subway car in the 80s when these are my kids' names on my wrist. Those are the only tattoos that you can see. But it is of a deep and abiding gratification to me when I go to like a resort or a pool party with, parents from my kids' preschool, and I take off my shirt, and there is a moment of like, well, I have to immediately reevaluate the way I look at you. You know what I mean? I didn't know you had it. Ike Barinholtz, who's a brilliant actor and comedian, good friends with my wife. And the first time I went to a pool party with my wife's friends and I took off my shirt, Ike Barinholtz goes, Jesus Christ, were you in Eastern Promises? I didn't know you were in the Russian mafia, for Christ's sake. And it was like, I literally looked around, I was like, am I the only person here with a tattoo?
But you have some, like, what's that one you just showed me over your heart? What is that?
On my chest, I have Roman numeral 4 for the 4 people of our family, my wife and my 2 kids.
Oh, wow. So some of these are fresh. Some of these are new.
I have 2 tattoo appointments on the book for October. I'm going back to finish a piece on my back. All my tattoos are family related, so but I'll show you. I think I have a picture.
Well, that's what Mexican gang members say too.
Sure, La Familia.
Yeah, unless it's Thomas the Tank or something.
Yeah, getting like MS-13 tattooed on my eyelids. Yeah. So this is.
Let me see. Oh my gosh, he's showing me a picture. That's your back right now?
Yeah. Now these I just got done in like July, so I'm going back to have this all colored.
They're like, I'm looking at like a crest of lions, like
family crest, and then 2 lions on either side.
You are really making your dad Jim Henson look bad right now. This is not what the Henson family.
If my dad were Jim Henson, my ex-wife would have made a lot more money in that divorce. But yeah, so that
is. That's insane. Wait, let me see. I'm looking at your phone right now. Okay, for people that are listening, it says father, husband. I don't know why a tattoo has never made me cry before. It says father, husband, brother, son.
Around my family crest and banners, yeah. And then on either side are these like sort of lions with
these. This is all new, though. This isn't like I got this when I got transferred to that private school.
Well, it's not like the family crest in the middle.
Yeah.
I got 8 years ago, and then I got it before I had kids.
What
and then
prompted that?
I'm very close with my family, my brothers, and I'm the youngest of 5 boys.
Oh.
I have a 5/5 on my arm for being the 5th of 5 boys, and so this was our family crest. So I got that, and then afterwards I got father, husband, brother, son put around it, and then I was like, I want to do something for my kids, and I always wanted one. Like, I have a bunch of smaller tattoos, but I wanted one, like, holy shit tattoo.
Oh, yeah, no. I like that it's father, husband. It's like memento. It's like reminding you, like, wait a minute, do I have...
It's a bit like
should I go home?
It's a bit like a tombstone.
It is. Well, listen, there's a good chance I'll be dead soon. But yeah, wow. I mean, I think of... For everybody relates to tattoos differently. All my tattoos are family related because... I think of them as like bookmarks to a feeling or a motivation or a sentiment. When I see tattoos that represent my brother or my children or something like that, it reminds me of that,
right.
that depth of experience. So when, I don't think I'm ever going to get to a point where I go, oh man, what was I thinking? Right. Honoring my children with a tattoo. I'm so fucking over those guys. It's not like I got a Tasmanian devil on my ankle when I was drunk in college, or my fucking fraternity, It's like they're things that to me I don't grow out of,
That's wild. I thought for like a split second, someone, my brother passed away, right? So someone was like, oh, you should get like a tattoo. And I was like, I shouldn't. Like not even for a nanosecond. I'm so not that person at all. And it's not even a pain thing. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't,
it doesn't appeal
call
to some
me.
people.
Yeah, it doesn't call to me at all. But then I see a friend of mine who has like, something meaningful on her shoulder. And I'm just like, wow, you're so badass.
It's not, I mean, it
I
seems
look-
that way, but it's
it
not.
is.
It's an aesthetic. To me, it really is like, certain people get sleeves.
Right.
I'm not into, I think they look cool on other people. That doesn't appeal to me. I want literally my body to look like a steamer trunk slapped with travel stickers, just randomly, you know what I mean?
That's going to be your next one. Paraguay.
Yeah.
On your
exactly.
on your butt.
Yeah.
Ah, God, that is interesting. I don't think a lot of people would ever picture that on your back.
And I like that it's,
You like
I
that.
know,
You
and
like
other
that.
people
It's a
don't.
dichotomy. Yeah.
And especially coming off of a family show. And
I dress like a Republican,
Mm-hmm.
but I am actually a diehard, like hippie, crunchy granola person. But I don't dress in
Right.
like flowy clothes
Right.
and all that. You know what I mean? But that's like my version of that.
Right.
People see me and they're like, "Oh, you shop at the Gap
Right.
and at J. Crew," and I do. But then, like, I'm all about, I'm kind of crazy when
Right.
it comes to all the hippie stuff.
Yeah. No, I
Like
think.
essential oils and all that. And
Yeah.
very patchouli and all that bullshit.
Yeah, I think I kind of probably, understandably, look to people like I'm very navy blue blazer, preppy, Connecticut, yuppie-ish,
Yeah.
And,
Yes, all of
and-
those things.
Right. And underneath,
Yes.
I am.
You're La Raza.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I love learning new things. We have to wrap it up, dude.
I had so much fun. Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much. I am so glad to find. Well, I was going to say earlier about the Laugh Factory. I knew you had kids, but I am so happy to find out that your kids are really young and that you are a little bit miserable like me. It makes me really happy.
yeah.
Because some comics are like, yeah, my kids are in their 20s. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah, the people that I went to high school with are empty nesters now,
Right.
and I'm like, yeah, sorry, I devoted the first half of my life to bong hits and dick jokes, and so now it is just nothing but fucking hard work and responsibility for the rest of my life.
And
I
backloaded
my life with hard work.
And we learned about cock cream. Get cock cream for
Yeah,
your
you gotta,
children.
yeah, man, you gotta fucking
Get that cock cream.
Yeah, don't fuck up your kid's dick. And then the other thing that I never even mentioned, my wife and I we're writing a book on parenting.
Oh, that's going to
just
be
from
good.
a sort of he said, she said perspective.
What's it going to be called? Do you know? Do you have any ideas?
We have some ideas, but I probably shouldn't say anything until.
Well, get it tattooed on your
okay.
back.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
You'll read about it on my person. We're actually going to print the book on me.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
genius.
Right.
That's like a whole different book tour.
Right.
You just show up to Bartles and James. Barnes and Noble.
Right.
And
With the
you're
Bartles and James.
With the Bartles and James, and you're naked.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Instead
read
of
a
turning
passage.
pages, you're just shifting
Your inner thigh.
you're spreading cheeks.
I never thought about putting the forward on your backward.
Yep. The binding is actually my butthole.
All right. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, and
We're gonna-
congratulations on the birth
Thank
of
you.
your daughter.
Thank you so much.
You're by the way, so happy that you had a boy first and then a little girl.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And she's so chill. It's ridiculous.
And she'll mature faster than boys do, so she'll catch up.
Yep.
And you'll have your little boy to sort of look out for her and protect her.
he's all ready.
Right.
He said to me the other day, I was getting them out of the car, and he goes, "Mommy, you go ahead. I'll catch up."
You got some things I got to take care of.
I got Claire. Her name's Claire. I got Claire. I'll grab
Yeah.
her. You get the groceries. I
Right.
got the baby.
Right.
Really?
And by the way, I don't fucking trust my kid to pour himself a glass of milk, so I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that I got Claire.
He sat on her in a loving way the other day, and I was like, just leave an air hole. Just like a snorkel of something. It's so loving that I feel bad. But he just...
By the way, Lenny in Of Mice and Men was also loving. He loved them to death. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Mr. Henson, I'll see you soon in the clubs.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Before 10:30, because otherwise I'm asleep.
All right, so that was my chat. So please go follow him on Twitter. Let him get 10,001 or 10,002 Twitter followers. I'm kidding. I don't have just 2 listeners. But I have like a couple dozen for the podcast. I like to self-deprecate. There are a lot of you actually. Oh, and by the way, I want to thank specifically some Twitter followers. By the way, at Kira Comedy is mine, and at Kira Soltanovich is the podcast's Twitter handle. But specifically Peggy at Pegs Gary. She is so sweet. She has been tweeting, where have you been? What's going on? Where are you? She tweeted recently, a couple days ago, hands clapping and a flamenco dancer emoticon and a hallelujah, amen. My reaction to news that at Kira Soltanovich, at Kira Comedy is back in the studio. So thanks. That's so very sweet. Thank you, at Stuart Aiken. At Kira Soltanovich, glad you're back. Yay. You guys are so sweet. And also, who else? There's another one that was so just all up in my business. Two Duck Feet. Thank you so much. You guys are just so fantastic. They're just constantly tweeting like, where are you? Why aren't you back? Where are you? Where have you been? So thanks. And a bunch more. I'm not going to read through all of them. A bunch of other people. At Exo Katie, she wrote, I'm so far behind. I wish you would have shared more about your pregnancy. All right, so I shared a lot. I didn't really hold back on my pregnancy. So yeah, you're really far behind. Are you listening to the podcast from the late 80s? Because yeah, I didn't talk about it then because I was in junior high. What else? Go to our Facebook page, please. Go to iTunes, begging you for some reviews. It just keeps us in the mix, in the loop. We just really appreciate all the support, and I am back, and I'm going to have lots of fun new guests and support everybody here at the All Things Comedy. That's the Twitter handle also, at All Things Comedy. The other podcasts too, 'cause there's so many, and they're all so great, and they're all so funny. And keep supporting us. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.